The main idea behind this project is to support the development of participatory approaches to mainstream and localize the SDG agenda within African context and support the development of transformation pathways to sustainability using bottom-up approaches.
So the waste of player one, right, goes into treatment plan, right? Waste of household 3 to the treatment plan, of household 4 into the rivers.
The Swartkops catchment in South Africa is experiencing important sustainability challenges, particularly water scarcity driven by the prolonged drought and systemic water governance challenges, all of which have affected the assurance of supply of appropriate quantity and quality of water to the communities within the catchment. Water challenges pose important socioeconomic but also environmental pressures within the catchment and downstream in the estuarine, including pollution and biodiversity loss. Such challenges overlap with high levels of poverty and unemployment, rapid urbanization and development of informal settlements, crime, and corporate governance challenges within the structures of governments, amongst others, making it difficult to reach local sustainable development goals. Many of the challenges are known, but solutions and actions are often discussed in isolation, preventing the development of an effective action plan. In response, the SDG Pathfinding project focused on developing systems thinking capacities to have a more holistic view of these challenges and identify the synergies as well as trade-offs of the solutions or actions. Just as important, action planning is high on the social and political agenda, given the severe water crisis the catchment is facing. Thus, this became an important focal point of the SDG Pathfinding process. The Rhodes University team's preliminary engagement with the stakeholders sought to identify stakeholders' perceptions about the main sustainability challenges using the STEEP H contextual scanning dimension of the adaptive systemic approach. The STEEP H sought to identify the social, technological, economic, environmental, political, and historical sustainability challenges within the catchment. It was also during this time that a living lab for the Swartkops catchment, a subset of the participating stakeholders, was convened to bring the knowledge gathered at workshops into action, not only through the development of action plans, but also take the lead in carrying out some of the proposed actions. Members of the living lab agreed to prioritize the development of an action plan for water security and discussed a preliminary set of actions. Apart from providing a preliminary overview of the Swartkops sustainability challenges, the previous step also helped with the design of the collaborative systems mapping of sustainable pathways, or simply COSMOS, a participatory systems mapping tool. The purpose behind the use of the COSMOS tool was twofold. One is to support the spatial representation of the main challenges identified in the previous step and have a deeper understanding of what variables are connected to the issues at stake. 2. To develop a future vision for the catchment that can support the development of a sustainability action plan or pathways. The resulting STEEP H variables from COSMOS were linked to Swartkops catchment sustainability challenges around the UN's Sustainable Development Goals using causal loop diagrams or CLDs. CLDs were seen by the participants as very useful in supporting the detailed identification of actions and the exploration of their impacts, both the positives and the negatives. They were particularly found useful when the Living Lab reviewed and revised the preliminary set of actions. The revised set of actions was then prioritized using a simplified multi-criteria analysis to constitute their preliminary action plan.
This one, rainwater. Okay. That means then they only need the remnant from the municipality. Municipality now.
Building on the experience of the French National Research Institute for Agriculture, Food and Environment in developing serious games, the CLD was used as a basis for developing the Nelson Mandela Bay water security and equity to help participants simulate a real-life situation of how the water scarcity affects them and their households. It also allows them to simulate how water scarcity may affect different categories of users and households and demonstrate the equity implications of the water security challenges in the metro. Using the serious game, participants explored pathways to a water-secured metro and the actions that can be collectively implemented. All of these happened within the framework of the Living Lab. As the SDG Pathfinding project comes to an end, it leaves the Swartkops catchment Living Lab behind as an enduring legacy. The Living Lab brings together ordinary citizens, researchers, scientists, policymakers, industry practitioners, and diverse stakeholders who are collectively working towards a sustainable catchment. The Living Lab members, together with the Rhodes University team of researchers, are now implementing a Water Research Commission funded project on water security and equity in the Nelson Mandela Bay Metro.